Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the video, and today, as you saw from the title, I'm going to be telling you about my musical journey. I hope you enjoy the video. Please consider liking and subscribing, and without further ado, let's get in. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to say that everything in this video is in chronological order, just in case if you're wondering. Okay, so I've grown up with music around me my entire life because of my parents. But I would say the first time I really remember listening to music was when I was around 7 or 8 because I would only listen to two songs, Panama by Van Halen and Architecture of Aggression by Megadeth. For some reason, these were the only two songs I would ever listen to, but that was until I played Guitar Hero on the Wii. This game introduced me to so many songs and bands I've never heard of because remember, I only listened to two songs before. But at this moment, I would say this was the first time that I really got into music because of one song, Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force. For a while, that was the only song that I would listen to. And yes, I mean, I tried to listen to other Dragon Force songs, but this is the only one I really liked because it was on Guitar Hero and I would play it all the time. So I guess, I mean, I would also say that I was kind of a Metallica fan because my dad listened to it, but really, I only listened to it because my dad listened to it, so I wouldn't really label myself as a Metallica fan. Alright, so here's where things really kick off for me, because this is when I actually started playing drums, but at the time I didn't own a drum set, but my dad's friends did. See, my dad was in a band called Colton Crew, and technically he was the only original member, and it was cool because he would use different musicians for different gigs. So each show would usually have a different drummer, and well, that drummer would usually just leave their kit at our house. And since he did that, I got to play on it. So for the first few years of me playing drums, I just goofed around on that kit. I mean, I didn't really know any songs, but I didn't really care to learn either because I just wanted to mess around because, I was like 9 years old at the time. So I didn't even really play that much either. I mean, I would play for like 2 weeks, not play for 8 months, repeat that. But I mean, it's fine because, I wasn't one of those 3-year-old prodigy kids who can already play Beethoven's Third Symphony on the piano with their eyes closed and with one hand. Yeah, I wasn't that good. Okay, so fast forward about to when I was 12, because this is when I really got into music and playing drums. So pretty much it all started one night. I was laying in bed listening to the songs for my gig. And yes, I had a gig, but it didn't actually happen. The place hosting it decided they weren't going to do it last minute. But I mean, I'm kind of glad because really I wasn't prepared or anything. I wasn't really that good at the time. But anyway, one night I was done listening to my songs and I was just trying to browse to find a band to listen to. And I kept scrolling and I found this and I was blown away. Okay, so like I knew the name Iron Maiden, but I didn't know who they were. So I listened to the first song, Senjutsu, off the album, and I thought it was alright, but it wasn't amazing. So I clicked on their most popular songs, The Trooper, Run to the Hills, and Number the Beast, and I was surprised because I actually like knew a few of these songs before on Guitar Hero. So basically that entire night I listened to Iron Maiden and looked at their awesome album covers. Then the next morning I told my dad about them and he gave me this. Iron Maiden's The Best of the Beast, which is basically their greatest hits. And once again, I was surprised because a lot of these songs on the album I knew. So for the next few months, I was Iron Maiden everything. Okay, so here is where things actually start to get interesting. Because I liked Iron Maiden and I liked the drums for it, but I didn't really know Iron Maiden or understand the drums because I really didn't play it that much. But for my 13th birthday, my parents took me to FYE for your entertainment at the Lima Mall in a CD shop called Gromies. And at the mall, we found two Iron Maiden CDs, The X Factor and Senjutsu. And obviously, I chose Senjutsu because that's the only one I knew at the time. But the thing was, I wanted to get both, but they were like $18 each, which for a CD, dang, that's crazy. But when we went to Gromies, this is where I found, in my opinion, the best Iron Maiden album ever, Power Slave. And this album is like a little masterpiece. This thing holds up to this day. But unfortunately, I was a little disappointed when hearing Senjutsu because I compared it to Power Slave. I mean, it's a good album, but it's nowhere on the same level as Power Slave. And as of recording this, I own 7 Iron Maiden albums. So yeah, I like them. Alright, so basically I could make an entire video just on this topic, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to keep it short and simple. So let me know in the comments if you want to see an entire video on this topic. So one day, randomly, my dad asked me, "Hey son, do you know a drummer named Mike Portnoy?" And I said no, I never heard of him. So later that night, my dad pulled up this band called Dream Theater on YouTube, and I could be wrong, but I believe my dad played 6 o'clock, Pull Me Under the Dance of Eternity, and I loved it. I mean, it was so amazing. The songs were masterpieces. And then later, the very next day, my dad gave me this Metropolis Part 2 Scenes from a Memory. And he explained the whole concept album thing, and I listened to it later that night, and I swear I almost cried in happiness. I mean, I was beyond blown away with the entire album. I mean, I was sad that the album ended because of how much I loved it. If you're wondering, I do have a full, in-depth video of explaining Metropolis Part 2 on my channel. You should go check it out. It's a pretty good video. But I swear, for an entire month straight, I only listened to Metropolis in its entirety. I mean, every time I listened to it, I would like hear something new that I didn't hear before. And I would say this is what first motivated me to really go out and play drums. And funny enough, I even tried to attempt to play Overture 1928 on drums. Yeah, that didn't go too well. Alright, so I'm not really going to talk about Dream Theater too much in the video, but I tell you what, I could make an entire video just talking about my journey with Dream Theater, so if you want to see a video like that, let me know in the comments. Alright, so at this time, Dream Theater and Iron Maiden were my two big bands. Honestly, I could care less for Dragon Force at this time. I mean, I owned Inhuman Rampage on CD, but in my opinion, every song just really sounded the same. I was out of the whole fast craziness, pretty much. But this was my last huge moment that I'm about to talk about that really blew me away on drums and getting into music. So, it was like 4 in the morning and I was bored. So I turned on YouTube to find something music related to watch. And I ended up watching this 6 Samus video about him like drinking and drumming or something like that. But anyway, he played the intro to Painkiller by Judas Priest. And I was like, dang, that's cool. So you bet I went right to the YouTube search bar and typed in that song. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I listened to the entire Painkiller album in its entirety twice at 4 in the morning because of how much I loved it. I'll tell you what, Scott Travis is a fantastic drummer, by the way. And once again, I told my dad about the band, and he gave me a burnt copy of Painkiller on CD. And I'm not kidding, my dad has an entire CD library. So after that, nothing too fancy really happened. I mean, I just got better at drums. I got more Dream Theater and Iron Maiden CDs, and just kind of checking out new bands. Not really finding any that I fell in love with, but that's kind of where I am now. Alright, so basically I could make an entire video on just going through my CD collection on its own, but once again, if you want to see a video like that, let me know in the comments because I want to make videos that I enjoy and you enjoy. So, I probably shouldn't rate myself, but I want to anyway. I would say that I'm like an average drummer. I mean, I would say right now, out of 10 stars, 0 being I like never play drums, and 10 being on the level of like Danny Carey and Mike Mangini. I would say I'm about a 5 or 6. So, pretty much my first time playing drums in front of a crowd would be at church. Because I still play drums at church, and obviously I did. And let me just tell you, it's pretty easy. Over half the songs either have no drums or barely any, so I pretty much get to make up my own drum parts. But the true time that I really stepped out of my comfort zone was when I played Tom Sawyer for my school talent show. And yes, I have a video on my channel about that where you should go check it out. But yeah, I had Rush's greatest hits, and I liked a lot of their songs on there. I chose Tom Sawyer because I wanted to play a Dream Theater song, but there was two problems. Too long, and nobody in my school would know it. And also, it would be really hard to play, and I would be scared the whole time that if I would mess up one part, I would just, like, mess up the entire song. So, I decided to compromise and play Tom Sawyer because it was a progressive song and people would know it. But the only unfortunate thing was time. I couldn't play the full song because it was, like, too long or whatever, so I could only sadly play half of it. Okay, so now I'm 14 years old, and guess what? I'm in a band. Yippee! My band's name is Justified, and it's a Christian rock slash hard rock band. We play Christian rock songs, and we also rock up worship songs. I'll leave the band's YouTube channel in the description if you want to go check it out and get an idea of our sound. And yes, we have our first gig coming up soon on October 26th at New Horizons Community Church in Rockford, Ohio. And I really hope this gig goes well because this is like my first show. And oh yeah, I probably should tell you some of the band members. So we have me on drums, my dad on guitar, my mom on keyboards and vocals, my dad's friend on bass, and his wife's on backups. And I'll tell you what, this band is pretty fire. It's really fun, and if you ever get a chance, you should see us sometime. Okay, so I would add a lot more into this video, but as of recording this, I'm only 14 years old, so I don't really have too much musical experience. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please consider hitting the like and subscribe button because this video took a long time to make, and I would really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.